Hey guys, Games here again. This is going to be what if Luffy was a swordsman, part 4 or 5, I believe. I haven't done the series in like a month, but Blood hasn't been hit, and the series has been on for a month, and I kind of miss it. So, oh guys, this is a discount. Whereas more like a free pass. So, Lego for this video, I'm gonna say 70 likes, and you guys have to get it by Monday. If I'm gonna get it by Monday, it's gonna be held off for another month. Alright, so you guys enjoyed my new Naruto what ifs, because the Sage of Six Paths and Hamura one went pretty well. It's at 1.6k views. And then we had the Sarutobi Naruto that dropped today. And then we also did the Dragon Ball what if, which I haven't done in a while, which is what if Goku's coming to Earth. So go check out those 3 videos. Okay, now, sorry about that, Luffy. So we left off with the Jaya arc concluding, and me telling you guys that the Strat ship is still damaged, but not as bad as, there's not really much need for their ship to be caught in so much things, as Luffy ends things as quickly as possible. And Luffy's thing is like, he's really strong and will like flaunt it just so fights don't drag on. As if fights go too long, he won't let them drag out. So he doesn't like dragged out fights. All right, now the Strats have over 3 billion berries on their ship, counting most of it in gold. And Luffy will tell Usopp and Sanji to go turn in the gold. And say Frankie family had told, they had heard it, and then they told Frankie, and Frankie told them to rob the guy. But when they do try it, Usopp will kick them Kingdom Come. And those 3 guys report to Frankie about what happened. And they were kind of shocked. Well, Frankie was kind of shocked about what happened. And Luffy is talking to Galley Law about the ship. And while they're talking about the ship, Kaku will go investigate the ship and find out it's actually it's in pretty good shape for what Luffy described it's been through. And Kaku will say, at best you guys can get to 1 more island. At best. Luffy will sigh, saying, it's been a good run with the ship. Sanji walks up with Usopp saying, alright, so how much does it cost to repair the ship? Luffy says, I'm not going to repair it. At best we can get to 1 island, and after that the ship has to go. Usopp would say, that's not true. I've been repairing it really well for a really long time. Well, why don't I just do it again? Then we keep sailing. We would tell Usopp, no, the ship needs to go. Usopp would punch Luffy, saying, no, the ship's been with us through everything. You shouldn't get rid of it that quickly. Luffy would retort by punching Usopp right in the gut, as Usopp almost coughs up blood. Luffy would say, okay, Usopp, your first mistake is starting to fight with me. Luffy grabs Usopp by the nose and holds him up and says, Usopp, this ship is done. You need to accept that. Prayer was given to us, but it's done. That's all I can say. Now, go put the money back on the ship, or whatever you want to do. But keep some of it out so we can go buy a hotel or something. Usopp holds his nose as Luffy's grip bruised his nose pretty good. And Zoro is kind of proud of Luffy, particularly just not letting Usopp hit him. Luffy would do the same thing to anyone that hit him. Even Ace, even Zoro. Even Sabo. So Usopp will do as he's told, but he will actually try to sail away. Then he realizes the Mary won't go. And he looks closer. Luffy intentionally pushed the ship on the land. Luffy could already tell this ship is done. So Usopp came and pushed the ship back into the water. Luffy pushed it too far into land with his sheer brute strength. Luffy is very physically strong. Usopp ends up just crying near the ship as he puts the money on board. Frankie's family will catch Usopp off guard. But Usopp quickly pulls out Kabuto and just beats the crap out of all of them. And Usopp even shoots a few of them. Now, Usopp did build Kabuto, since he built it pretty early. So, yeah. Alright, yeah, I'm sorry about that. Alright. So, Frankie families end up just fighting Usopp to a standstill. Usopp was caught off guard half the time. Now, Frankie was a little shocked that they were beaten this easily by someone so like frail looking like Usopp. In reality, Usopp is actually pretty muscular, but they think he looks frail under his clothes. So Usopp ends up putting all the money on board and just sits on the ship and cries. And after Usopp is finished crying, suddenly he hears a loud thud. He peeks out to see Zoro on the ship, as Zoro will sit next to Usopp. Usopp asks Zoro what he wants, as Zoro will just say, "I understand. All of us are pretty beat up about the ship having to go. But this ship wasn't going to last long. The ship isn't meant for fighting. It's meant for giving cruises and tours of places. Except I thought you of all people would have known this." Usopp will start crying a little more. He then says, "I know, but it's hard to let go of this ship that's a gift from my homeland." Zoro would rub Usopp's back, saying, "Don't mind it. Just give Luffy the money so we can buy a new ship and a hotel room." Usopp would say, "Here." Gives Zoro the suitcase, as Zoro jumps off the ship and runs towards Luffy. And Usopp would actually gather all their belongings into a giant bag, like all their important belongings, and bring them to a hotel room that Zoro would have bought. And Zoro was only able to find out where to go with his observation hockey. So there's a hotel that's pretty big, and he buys them the biggest suite that they have. So they buy this, and Usopp will actually drag all their stuff inside. Puts it down, and the Strats were actually wondering where all the stuff went as they went back to the ship to collect their stuff. But Usopp comes back saying, "Oh, I was packing up for you guys. All of our stuff is in the hotel room." Luffy would nod as they pack all the rest of their stuff and move into that hotel room. The ship would have to wait a few weeks to be built. But Luffy has a pretty good blueprint of it. And he even gave them a few special items from Skypiea. Now, let me fast forward a few days. Frankie family will actually be hunting for the Strats, but they didn't know that they bought a suite. Then Frankie will actually break into the hotel room as a place just to look for them. Not in the hotel room, but in the hotel. And he interrogates the clerk, as the clerk will tell them they're in the suite. So Frankie would go up to the suite and knock on the door to see a very drunk-looking Luffy open the door. And Frankie would go for a punch instantly because he didn't see Usopp and thinks the clerk lied to him. Luffy just tanks the punch as he punches Frankie harder and sending Frankie flying right out of the building. And Frankie he goes through multiple buildings. Frankie hits the Mary and falls onto the ground unconscious. Frankie's like, "Oh, he hit me near the..." Like when he wakes up around an hour later, he wakes up in the Mary saying, "That bastard hit me near a ship. The joke's on him." Frankie tries to loot the ship for anything that's valuable, but he sees the ship is in really bad condition and they all move their stuff out of it. Frankie would sigh, saying, "Damn it." He goes back to the hotel room, and the only person that opens is Robin. Frankie kind of just smirks, seeing how good looking she is. I tries to just pull her along. Robin would right hook Frankie so hard he spins in a full circle. Sanji would see this as he jumps out the door, kicking Frankie right in the jaw. So, yeah. This isn't really looking good for Frankie right now, as Robin just hit him. Well, first was pretty sure Frankie didn't get hit by anyone before Luffy. So, Luffy, Robin, and Sanji. Frankie eventually just falls on the ground and then say, you guys busted up my men. You guys need to pay." Usopp walks out with Sanji, and Sanji was already out. Sanji's already out of the room. But Usopp walks out saying, "What do you mean we busted up your men?" He then starts thinking, saying, "Oh, yeah, the 3 guys I shot." So Usopp did use a pistol and shot like 3 of the guys in the shoulder. So Frankie says, "It was you." Usopp kicks him right in the neck. Frankie didn't get damaged too much, but it still hurt a bit. He coughs and says, "Ah, neck." Possibly. Right, I'm back. So Frankie would eventually just be kicked in the neck by Usopp, and they actually had to talk for a bit. Luffy holds Frankie in place using his sheer strength with Zoro helping him in case Frankie does have something up his sleeve. As Frankie did show them he shoot his fist off. He showed them that, but Luffy is now holding his arm and fist in place. Alright. Now, once they end up just targeting Frankie, they let Frankie go, as Luffy would say. We'll pay for him for the medical bills or whatever. Luffy goes inside, grabs a few 100,000 berry, and actually gives Frankie earned 800,000. Frankie's kind of shocked that someone actually offered to pay for something they did. That's usually Water 7, because it's the place Frankie lives in, part of it he lives in. That's really uncommon. Very uncommon. Frankie takes it and comes to the berries, checks even if they're real. He's shocked that they're actually real, and he goes and pays for the guy's medical bills. So, once he's done, he eventually will end up just walking back to the hotel. So, Luffy, thank you. And Frankie will say, I inspected your ship, hoping to rob it, but I found out it was in a bad condition. And I used to be one of the best shipwrights on this island. Better than Galileo combined. That kind of shocks Luffy as he says, oh really? I have some intel. What's your name? Frankie says, well, my alias is Frankie. My real name is Cuddy Flam. Luffy would be shocked as he's heard of Cuddy Flam. He worked for Tom, and Iceberg worked for Tom, so I don't think Cuddy Flam would be just some forgotten name or some random name. It would be known. Luffy would kind of just smirk, saying, "Oh, really? What's up with your robotic body?" Frankie would say, "I tried to stop the water train from getting to Ennie's lobby, but by doing that, got in front of it and got hit." And Luffy kind of be shocked as the part about being hit by the sea train wasn't in like the lore of Water 7 or the Tom's workers, but it was stated that Cuddy Flam was dead, and being hit by a train would surely do it. In fact, that's like the only reason Cuddy Flam would be killed. Everyone expected Frankie, Tom's workers. Luffy would say, "I believe it." Well, why didn't you talk about a ship? Frankie says, "If I can get help from Iceberg, I can build you a better ship." At this point, it's around nighttime as they spend all day unpacking the hotel room, as they might actually end up staying there for a few months. And Luffy said, and Frankie would say, "If I get my brother to cooperate, me and him will probably build you a better ship." And suddenly they hear a loud gunshot. And Luffy instantly just jumps out the window as he heard it from Iceberg's office. Frankie would be a little confused as he peeks out of the window saying, "Where are you going? It's just a gunshot." Luffy would yell, "It came from Iceberg's office." Frankie would jump out the window following Luffy, saying, "Let's go." Ultrash follows suit jumping out the window as they all run towards the office. Galileo even sees the shots running through the street as Polly would jump in front of them, saying, "What are you guys doing towards Iceberg's office?" Luffy would yell, "That gunshot was from his office. We need to go." Polly would yell, "Come on, let's go." As the rest of Galileo follows Straw Hats as they burst into Iceberg's office, seeing as a bullet hole in his shoulder. And he sees the masked figure to leave. Robin is actually missing. They realize that. They would say, "Wait, what? Where's Robin?" Then Luffy remembers. She was gone for quite some time while they were running. It took them around 10 minutes to get there. Around the 3-minute mark, Robin kind of disappeared, but Luffy wasn't paying attention. And that's when Luffy was like, "Don't tell me." Luffy would use observation hockey since around Water 7, and he sees a brief signature of what Robin's aura would look like. Luffy does have something similar to Fujitora in terms of observation hockey. We're going to just sense auras, or just find out the color of a certain aura. And Luffy sees the Straws' auras in a certain way. Zoro's is really strong, violent, but prideful. And just like calm, prideful, fierce, and loyal. That's Zoro's aura, and in his figure. Robin's would be more calm, elegant, and loyal as well. But Robin's more hesitant to be loyal to the Straw Hats, as she doesn't want one to betray them, so she tries to make it think she's not loyal. But Luffy feels her loyalty in her aura and says, "There." Points halfway across Water 7, as they're a little confused on how she would get there. Luffy then looks at Zoro, saying, "Maybe possible devil fruit." Zoro would nod as Luffy looks at Iceberg, saying, "The reindeer will treat you." Once Chopper would buff up, turn on light a candle, and start treating Iceberg. Luffy would jump out the window, running towards Robin, where he sensed her aura. As Luffy would actually, Luffy wears what you see in this picture, and his sword looks like that. Yusen looks like that. So Luffy would end up just wearing his night clothes, running towards Robin, jumping from roof to roof. As Zoro's wearing what you see in the picture right here. Starts wearing just whatever you want them to wear. So eventually they get to where Luffy sends Robin, and the CP9 don't sense them, and neither does Robin. And Robin is supposed to take on all CP9 except for Lucci. That's really it. Like Kaku's like a match that would make her pass out. Like she could beat Kaku, but to a standstill. Like kind of like a tie between her and Kaku in strength. While Luffy and Zoro and Sanji could beat all of CP9, even Lucci pretty easily. But I won't touch upon that right now. Luffy is sensing their haki, saying that they have none. Robin only has observation and light armament. Like she can cut like her fingers and arm in haki. That's really it. CP9 threatens her, and she eventually will have to give in. That's when Kaku actually throw a sword towards where he thinks someone is. Eventually, he sees a blade caught in midair. And then he looks closer, seeing a straw hat. Kaku will eventually just pull out his other sword and yell Tempest Kick. Luffy will jump straight to the kick as he uses Kaku's sword and will cut off Kaku's arm. Kaku freaks out as he even used Tech Eye, but his arm was still cut off. Luffy slams Kaku's blade in the ground. All starts to jump out from the shadows, even Galila. Luffy says, we all heard you threaten Robin. So no, she's not trying to just betray us against by her own free will. You're forcing her to do it. Lucci would say, troublesome. He goes to Shigan Luffy, but that's when Polly will wrap up Lucci's arms, pulling him back. Lucci's stronger than Polly, so he tries to pull Polly forward again, but that's when Luffy would just uppercut Lucci so hard, Lucci's knocked out by his uppercut. And suddenly, Jabber would try to go for Luffy, but Frankie would step in front and yell, let's just say that Frankie just calls it Full Metal. Suddenly, Frankie's fist is shot off right into Jabber's snout as Jabber transforms in his half transformation form. Jabber's snout is just broken and Jabber is knocked unconscious. Now, Fushiroku, the guy with the zipper mouth. Sanji would just kick him right in the head, knocking him out cold. And Zoro would fight like the rest of the rest of CP9 by himself, taking them all down. Usopp and Nami are just providing support to just keep them down. So, honestly, when the CP9 wakes up, they're hanging from a building in the middle of just Water 7, and all the residents are looking at them. Lucci starts thinking, what the hell? How did I get here? Lucci instantly just tries to transform halfway. Then a blade put to his neck and instantly starts bleeding. He's even using Tech Eye, and he's still bleeding. Even bleeding even more. Luffy says, try to break out, and your head will be rolling through the streets. Lucci then looks closer, saying it's daytime. He's been out for a full day. That's when the rest of CP9 is just like they're beaten and bloodied. Lucia's just beating them up, even while they're unconscious. Then they see Iceberg on a building across from them. That's almost equal in height, so they can see right into his eyes. Iceberg would say, so just because I wouldn't give the government what they wanted, they sent some assassins after me. And my own workers, nonetheless. Kaku, I thought the highest of you. Lucci was weird, but I thought you were my best worker, even above Polly. But you betrayed me. Iceberg holds a pistol out, saying, it's a shame this won't work on you. That's when, suddenly from behind Kaku, Frankie will just use his air cannon or Kude burst. I don't know if one would use that giant blast of air against Luffy. When he's about to do that, but Polly would say, not worth it. Suddenly, Kaku not even has time to use Tech Eye, is shot in the back of the head by Polly. Iceberg would sigh, saying, I know the rest of you won't change. Luffy would then draw his blade, saying, you guys will have a chance to commit seppuku. And me and Zoro will be your assistant. We'll help you commit seppuku. But this is the most honorable way you guys can die. CP9 will nod. They all nod collectively as Luffy pulls them back up, and they line up on top of the building, all ready to commit seppuku. Luffy and Zoro get ready with Haki infused blades, just throw a slash that would collide, and they'd be beheaded, like CP9 would. Lucci uses Shigan on his own neck, and that would actually kill Lucci instantly. There's CP9 needs assistance as they're killed. Iceberg would sigh, saying, bury them on the beach somewhere. So he's talking Galley a lot. He doesn't give orders to the Straw Hats. So CP9 is buried on the beach by Galley Law, and Frankie actually asked, CP9 didn't get a chance to even go back to where they were. Luffy just sensed that Robin was gone and knew where she was because of his observation haki. So yeah. Now Frankie would ask Iceberg if they can actually help the Sharks build a new ship, and Galileo actually wants to chip in. So Frankie actually agrees with this, so Frankie family chip in as well, and they eventually start building the Thousand Sunny. The Sharks even pitch in as Luffy, Usopp, and Zoro and Sanji. They can use their observation to just find out what they need help with. So eventually, once the Sharks finish building the ship, along Galileo, Frankie family, Iceberg, and Frankie. Now the ship is even bigger than in canon, and they even have the back of the ship that has the Mary's ram head. Front of the ship has the Sunny's lion head. Or I'm pretty sure it's a lion. And the start of the ship, Luffy would smirk as the stuff he had from Skypiea happened to be sea stone. Skypiea had sea stone, and it was very expensive, but you had to keep it away from any of the Devil Fruit users, so they weren't allowed below the deck. But Luffy has the ship covered in sea stone, but the sea stone is covered by wood. So he'll still get off the energy of the sea. So the Sea Kings won't attack them instantly. The bottom of the ship is also covered in sea stone. Luffy had a lot of sea stone. He bought a lot of it from Skypiea. And some of it was also from Jaya. But eventually, the ship is actually built also the same as in canon. Except Luffy gets his own room, so does every other Straw Hat. But Luffy's room is the biggest. Zoro gets his own training room for his swords. Luffy's the only one allowed in there besides Zoro. So there's personal training room for Luffy and Zoro, then other training rooms. Also starts to get their own bedrooms, their personal libraries, everything. And then Luffy would actually think about this. Instead of Frankie saying, "Come on board," as Luffy holds his hand out, Frankie would say, "This isn't my place." Luffy would look at Robin saying, "You know what to do." Suddenly, an arm will go for Frankie's stomach and punch him right in the family jewels. Frankie coughs a lot as Robin repeatedly hits him there until he yells, "Fine, I'll go." Luffy would clap saying, "Good job, Robin. Now, can you make a bridge so we can come aboard?" Robin makes a bridge as Frankie walks on board, holding his area. That's when Luffy will tell Iceberg, "Our next stop is Ennie's lobby." The Sharks are a little confused, until they eventually get it, but Frankie's still confused. So is Galileo, Frankie family, and Iceberg. Still, Iceberg actually says, "Don't tell me." Luffy says, "Alright, go on guys, let's go burn it to the ground." And they mess with Water 7, they mess with us. As Luffy actually just grabs something from the back of the ship and throws it towards Iceberg. It's a flag with a Straw Hat symbol on it. Iceberg would chuckle, saying, "Don't tell me you're going to make me hang that from my office." He says, "Right on the roof. Now hop to it." Polly would say, "Hey, who do you think you are?" And so Luffy says, "The one that said that's about to save your whole island." Polly would kind of sigh and say, "Iceberg-san, I'll go help you." Luffy would say, "Frankie, whatever the thing you saw in the back was, fire it off so we can go." Frankie would chuckle, saying, "This is my coup de burst." Suddenly, the ram head on the back of the Sunny would open, like the mouth and the horn. The horns would actually swirl wider. They kind of go like exhaust pipes. The mouth will open. Suddenly, the mouth will shoot the coup de burst. The horns add on just tons of speed, or flames to enhance the speed. Now, let's shoot off towards Ennie's lobby. It's time to get there. All of the Marines are a little confused. They're expecting the sea train, not a giant ship. Then they see the Straw Hats on it. And Spandam wasn't with CP9 when they died. Spandam from the top building will yell, "Where's CP9? They're supposed to be here instead of you." And Spandam doesn't he knows they probably did something to them. Luffy says, "They died in the most honorable way possible by seppuku." Everyone's a little confused about why CP9 would do that. Luffy says, Lucci committed suicide though. And that's how everyone else knew. These shots were no joke. They pushed CP9 to their limit that even Lucci wanted himself dead. Luffy would draw both his blades. And tell Zoro, "Let's go commando." Suddenly, Zoro would get in face sword style, cutting off his blades in hockey. Luffy cuts all of his blades in hockey, both of them. And then he gets in the stance of just just a starburst rush. And then the rest of the Strats, they get in their fighting stance. As they all jump on it, and he's lobby raiding it. They're cutting down foe left and right, and usually Usopp will talk the Giants down, so the Giants just leave Ennie's lobby by themselves. Spandam is also he's pinned down in this event by Luffy, and Luffy pins Wakizashi to his neck. Pause real quick. Sorry about that. So, Luffy will eventually just kind of have Spandam pinned down and put his Tonto Wakizashi to his neck. Spandam will yell, "If you just leave in his lobby, then there'll be no more problems." So Luffy will get his buttons pressed on a golden snail. I forgot the proper name of it. Luffy is confused as he's like, what does this do? He looks at it, and on the bottom of it, it says, Buster Call. Luffy's eyes will widen as he says, off, 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 off. They all run in towards Mary. Not Mary, well, you guys can name this new ship in the comments, because it can be the Sunny still, but it doesn't really matter. It can still be the Sunny if you guys want it to be, but guys, I can name it in the comments if you want to. But Luffy will tell them to get off the island, and they run to their ship. And Frankie will burst it again, send them flying off in the distance. And the Marines are unable to catch them, but they still have to bust called the island. Spandam is actually able to get off it though. Spandam actually found like a small boat and got off Endy's lobby. He had one of the ships pick him up, and Spandam is now left alive, but CP9 is dead, according to him. And the rest are only like here because they actually get a bounty increase basically. And Kobe and Himampo were left on Water 7 because Endy's lobby is a little too dangerous. I did not forget about them, actually. I just wanted them to be left behind as Water 7 was serious business compared to whatever they're going to do later. Like, Moria is their best thing right now. Like, Moria is where they'll come into play. This is going to be a long video, by the way. But I'm probably going to do, like, past the time skip in this video. So, get your food ready. Now, let me get back to Water 7. Kobe and Himampo actually get on the ship. And Luffy says, alright, well, Endy's lobby sank. We'll see you guys later. Frankie waves goodbye to Iceberg and the Frankie family and Galley Law as they set sail. And they end up going into the Florian Triangle. And Luffy and Frankie and Zoro are building something. Well, Luffy, Frankie, and Usopp are building something. Zoro wants to help, but Luffy won't allow him. What they're building is kind of a dome around the main part of the Sunny. Well, I'm gonna call it the Sunny until you guys name it something. So they built something around the Sunny. It's more like a dome, and it's invisible to the naked eye. But inside, it looks like an invisible dome. It's made of really hard glass, basically. And let's leave some room for. Well, they don't really need to sail. They have giant oars that poke out the side. And the strongest row the ship using that. And they all have observation hockey, so the mist doesn't really phase them. And then they also have Coup Burst pause again, I'm sorry. They have Coup Burst to go wherever they want to with the right direction. So the sail's kind of useless at some points because they can sail through everything. But yeah. So besides that, by the time they meet Brook sees that they have just finished their glass roof, and he sees it with Luffy, Usopp, and Sanji. Luffy, Usopp, and Frankie on top. Brook just waves to them, saying, "Yo ho ho." Frankie says, "Am I going insane?" Usopp starts screaming insane, like Usopp screams like he's going insane. He jumps off the roof as he grabs onto the oar and crawls into a very small hole. Frankie just says, "I'm done." He presses up a certain panel that opens up the giant glass as he falls in and closes the hatch. As he jumps in and pushes it closed again, Luffy just jumps on the Brook ship, saying, "A skeleton, awesome." Brook will say, "Are they scared of me?" Luffy says, "Yeah, probably." As he points to Usopp and Chopper's cowering behind the sail, as Usopp's holding on his pistol, like he's like, "You won't hurt Chopper, you won't hurt me." Luffy just points to Brook's like the very skeleton body, saying, he yells, "Bullets won't work." Usopp then pulls out whatever weapon he has. He even pulls out a cross, saying this will work on him. But Luffy and Brook will just talk, as suddenly Luffy just says, "Open the hatch." They open it as it connects to Brook's ship, and Luffy throws Brook right inside as Luffy will jump in with him. And Luffy will close the hatch, saying, "This is Brook, the newest member of the Straw Hat Pirates." Frankie just says, "So now me and the skeleton are the newest members." Luffy will nod, saying, "Yep." Zoro just punches Luffy in the back of the head, and Luffy will punch Zoro right in the jaw. Zoro says, "I should have expected that, but Luffy can't just invite random people on board." He says, "He's not random, he has a really sad backstory. Kind of like Robin." But Robin's is sadder. But not Frankie. Well, Frankie had a sad backstory. Robin had a sad backstory. Brooke has a sad backstory. Frankie said, well, not Frankie. Zoro will say, how many of us don't have trauma? Luffy raised his hand saying, I'm not really a trauma-filled person. I like one traumatic experience. Zoro can't but chuckle saying, same here, just one. Usopp says, just one. That's when Kobe and Helmpo are like, we're not really traumatized. Helmpo was like, my dad was just a douche. Kobe says, I was just dumb. And that's when Brooke points to Helmpo's axe, saying, that thing's pretty huge. Where do you get it? Helmpo then jumps as he just now noticed there's a skeleton. Because he didn't see Brooke. He just heard about the Stars talking about their sad backstories. But Helmpo was like shaking, says, my dad had an axe hand and I took it from him. And that's when Brooke says, was he nice or bad? Because if he was nice, I might just have to take your arm for taking his arm. That's all I was trying to say. I know his dad was a douche. All the shots that I've heard about Axe and Morgan from the shots that I've been on this crew the longest. Brooke would just laugh, saying, I was joking. Alright, well, guys are new to the floating triangle, right? Luffy will nod as everyone else nods. Brooke says, did you just happen to open a barrel? Luffy kind of just like, his eyes will just go blank, saying, but if we did. Brooke will facepalm, saying, be ready for a fight. Suddenly, they actually bump into something. And it was another barrel. Then look closer, saying, there's only a barrel. It's more like a small canoe with a corpse on it. Luffy says, don't tell me. Brooke says, there's a new pirate crew inhabiting this part of the Grand Line. Luffy says, who might that be? And Brooke says, according to him, he's a warlord, Moria. He says, oh, another damn warlord. I have to pause to charge my phone. Alright, so Brooke tells him that, oh, the warlord, he's apparently the warlord Moria. Luffy will sigh, saying, another goddamn warlord. Brooke says, what do you mean another goddamn warlord? That's what Luffy says. We've already taken down one of them already. And what's another one to us? Zoro says, if we meet him and he's just really, really weird, can I cut him in half? He says, yes, you can, because Crocodile was plenty weird enough. Zoro says, totally not, because I have a vendetta against any warlord right now. Zoro's still mad that Crocodile got him. Which I love like Crocodile stabbing Zoro right through the stomach. So, yeah. Now, basically, Brooke and then we'll talk for a bit, and Chopper and Usopp eventually calm down. Brooke so mentions his shadow being stolen. Luffy then says, like Brooke doesn't hold detail about Moria's devil fruit, as Brooke knows a lot about it. Then tells them that his shadow is in a old ancient samurai from Wano Kuni. Zoro has heard of Wano Kuni from his teacher, and that's what Zoro says, Brooke, don't fight your shadow, I'll get it back for you. That's when Brooke's a little confusing, saying, why? Why do you want to get my shadow back for me? Zoro says, because I have a thing against certain samurai, but I also have respect for them, and seeing one that's being manipulated hurts me on a different level. So I'll get the shadow for you. Luffy will say the same thing. He agrees with Zoro, saying, I will cut Moria to pieces for what he's doing to just samurai. Brooke will say, Swordsman. I have a feeling that now this is just personal for you guys. That's when Luffy and Zoro both nod, and Luffy says, hey, Brooke, your cane. How good are you with the sword inside it? Brooke opens it, saying, pretty average. Luffy says, average will not cut it for this crew. He points to Helmpo and Kobe. Says, wait, why are you standing around? Go back to training. They run into the training room, start training even harder, as they only have observation and they only have observation at this point. Their Arnold hockey sucks. Luffy will say, Brooke, you'll be trained personally by me and Zoro. Chopper, get back to learning Arnold hockey. Chopper nods as he really practices trying to form his will around his arms, and they all have really strong wills for what they want to be. Chopper's just will to just make sure no one ever gets hurt again and to protect his friends is really strong, actually. Chopper actually would have a really strong arm in hockey. But Brook, Zoro, and Luffy go into Zoro's personal training room. It's Zoro's training room, but he lets Luffy and Brook in. And Luffy will practice with like a wooden sword, so will Zoro, and they repeatedly beat on Brook. And Chopper has to bring Brook milk from time to time. Sanji makes desserts for them occasionally. But eventually, Brook is just actually really skilled with swords. Better than Canon Brook. And at this point, Brook actually, like, he has to use his devil fruit as well. And by the time they encounter Moria, like Brook tells him, we're here, as he feels the presence of the ship. And he's being taught observation hockey as well, as like the minimum requirement for to join this crew is observation hockey. Frankie's learning that from Robin right now, as Robin and him are actually pretty good friends. So now Brook says we're close. As Brook actually puts his puts his clothes back on, as he's trying to train like wooden gear, or just gear so he wouldn't have his bones broken. They go outside and Luffy will see how big the ship is. And Luffy's ship is no joke, it's pretty big. Like, Canon is not a big ship, like, it looks big, but other ships are really huge compared to it. While this ship, there's not many people on it, but it's about the size of Kid's ship. Like, Captain Kidd. And his ship's huge. So, it's a little bit bigger than that, actually. When they get close to the ship, Luffy actually will ask Frankie, does the Sunny's head do anything? Frankie says, it kind of does it Kude burst, but opposite direction. Luffy says, Can I activate both Kude bursts at the same time? Frankie will say, probably, but it'll take a lot of our fuel away. Luffy goes, alright, me and Zoro will just paddle through the Florian Triangle while all the ship replenishes. Zoro says, wait, I never agreed to that. He says, too bad, you did now. Frankie then says, well, I'll activate both of them then. Luffy says, get closer to the ship. They do, as Moria tries to get close to their ship, wondering what it's doing here, as they see this giant ship approaching them. And that's when Luffy will clap, saying, alright, now. Suddenly, both Kude bursts are activated from both sides, as Moria's ship is being blown apart by from different the forest side. But even Dr. Hogback's part of his Dr. Hogback is killed. A lot of shadows are released, and they luckily miss Lola's group. And by the time they actually stop, Luffy says drop the anchor. So the Kude bursts cease, and the anchor is dropped. The Sharks all get off their ship as they actually run towards the base of Moria. Suddenly, they're stopped by Lola and her group. Luffy thinks it's some of Moria's men, but Lola actually just holds her hands up, saying, "We're not here for a fight. We're actually asking if you can help us." Brook says, "Lola, is that you?" She says, "Yeah. Why? How do you know me?" Brook says, "Oh, I fought your giant hippo, like the giant hippo that has your shadow numerous amount of times. She hits hard." Lola yells, "If they put my shadow in a damn hippo," and something says, like he'll mumble to himself, "By your appearance, they weren't too far off." No one heard that except for the Strides, as they all kind of chuckle. But we will just say, our skeleton friend here, his shadow's gone, so we're going for his. Suddenly, from behind, Luffy's punched in the back of the head. Luffy was off guard because he felt calm around Lola and her friends. Luffy's punched in the back of the head. He yells, "Wait, who the hell did that?" He uses observation hockey to find out, oh, who's nervous about hitting me. Then he finds Absalom about to grab Nami or Robin. Luffy will yell for for Kobe to jump, slap the certain side of Nami. And Kobe will listen, and suddenly he doesn't hit Nami. He hits a head. And Absalom actually just turns invisible again, as Helmeppo will actually kick Absalom right in the face, sending Absalom flying. Luffy will chuckle, saying, Sanji, do what you want. I already know how you feel. Sanji will yell, saying, "You'll pay, you damn bastard." Sanji will yell as he yells, "Double Jambe." Armament infused. Police Double Jambe will turn purple as the flames are infused with hockey, not his leg. That's when Absalom will say, "Oh dear God," as he just feels this intense heat. He's kicked right in the chest and flying right into where Moria is, as Absalom was kicked halfway across the thriller bark. when Absalom comes crashing into the room, Mori's a little confused, saying, like, what the hell, Absalom? He looks out the window, saying that there's a giant purple flame. He looks out. Wait, let me check here real quick. Alright, I'm sorry about that. I should make sure I wasn't confused with a different character. I watched a show that had a character named Absalom. I want to make sure that I wasn't just saying his name instead of the actual character's name. But Moria had saw that there was another ship. And he'd heard like something. He thought they collided with a broken ship. He wasn't too concerned. Then he sees more than half of the other bark was burned apart by just the Kuei burst. So Luffy and the Sharks continue running towards where Moria is with all of his crew helping them. Eventually, all the zombies are actually being defeated by Brook telling the Sharks about salt, and all the group having plenty of salt. But then the Sharks also have a lot of salt. And then they just flick some salt onto the zombies, and eventually, after an hour, they get to where they get to where Perona is, and Kumasi or Kumashi, like it's Kumasi. They had like. Pretty sure her first bear was like Kuma A, then she had Kuma B, and now she has Kuma C. But Kuma C eventually just get ready to protect Perona, but Luffy cuts him to pieces pretty easily. And the rest of Perona's zombies, actually, Perona's ghost can't really affect Usopp or Chopper. They're still scared of Brook. Well, actually, Kobe and Usopp are the ones unaffected, so it's just Kobe and Usopp. I actually said it was Kobe, Helmeppo, and Usopp. They're like the only ones that can be affected by her ghosts. So, like, that's what, like, a ghost will hit Luffy. Luffy thinks they're going to do nothing. But Luffy falls to his knees, saying, I'll never be a respectable swordsman. I'm too weak. Zoro's hit by a shadow as he's like, what the hell, Luffy? And then he's hit by, not by a shadow, by a ghost. He says, your swordsman title is so impossible for me. I'm trash. Sanji can't help but burst out laughing. Suddenly he's hit by a ghost, as he says, as being a cook, what a lame profession. And they're actually cheered up by like Kobe saying, "You guys are the best. Don't submit to this weak warlord." As they think Perona's a warlord because of her ability, they don't know her name. But that's when Perona says, "I'm not the warlord, but I'm not weak either." And that's when they all get started again. As Luffy says, "We're gonna beat all the warlords to pieces." And this is when Zoro say, "We're gonna kill them all." Sanji says, "So whoever did that's gonna pay." And then he sees his Perona saying, she can wait. The fight with her can wait later. That's when Absalom's army comes rushing in with Perona's army. And Dr. Hogback's army is destroyed. So, yeah. So it's just Absalom's army with Perona's combining, and some of Moria's guys come in. And Brook will point out, like, Ryuma in the middle of all these guys. Zoro will tell Brook, you start the fight, unless Zoro wants Brook wants it done quickly. Brook will say, if you didn't have it done, just get it done quickly. Zoro will nod. He looks around and says, he finds a candle. Like, let's say there's a giant candle nearby. Zoro will dip his blade in the wax. Suddenly, he will end up putting all of the wax on his blade, and then grab all the salt and pour it on the wax. And the salt eventually hardens in the blade. Next one, Zoro will say, improvised technique, salty slash. He heats his blade up with a hockey and slashes the air. The hockey will actually cut apart a lot of the shadows as the hockey is sending salt to them. Eventually, Ryuma can't block it. Like, Ryuma can block it with his black blade, but his hand is hit by the salt, and eventually his arm will fall limp. Then Zoro will just jump, grab Ryuma, and Ryuma will say, you're definitely a respectable swordsman. Zoro will say, I will free you. Ryuma says, if I'm going to be defeated this quickly, take my blade. You've earned it. Obviously. Zoro then crushes Ryuma's head completely, as it just kind of just turns to dust. It turns to dust. Zoro will grab Shusui, and she looks at Luffy. As Zoro has a few swords, but originally Yubashiri was destroyed, but they were actually able to flee Eni's lobby before that would even happen. So, yeah. I'd say that, like, Zoro would actually just, like, he gives Yubashiri to Kobe. To Brook. So Brook kind of just puts it away, and we're, like, in the sheath where he held his cane. And now, let's just say that, like, we're gonna fast forward a bit. Moria doesn't get any of their shadows, so, yeah. But Kuma, he would still end up coming. Kuma had gotten word from Moria as Moria called for help and backup as half the ship was destroyed. Moria called for help and Kuma was the one to intercept it. Kuma appears, but he's actually ready to beat up Moria. But when he arrives, he recognizes that giant ship in the back, as the goat head is pretty recognizable. It's a Strat ship. But then he sees the Strats have done a lot of damage to Moria's area, or ship. Then he retraces his steps to find that Perona is unconscious. That was due to Kobe and Usopp. Usopp kind of hit her with the Firebird Star as Kobe hit her over the head with the staff. But eventually, the Strats, like Kuma will see all the damage that was done. And, so Kuma just eventually gets where the Strats are. And Kuma actually spent hours exploring all of Thriller Bark. But now back to the Strats. Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji are repeatedly abusing Moria. This is not even a fight, it's just abuse. Moria tries to use his doppelganger or his doppelman, but that's easily handled by the Strats. But it's Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji. Brook occasionally butts in, and it's just like the demon trio. Occasionally Brook versus Moria. And this is just painful to watch. Eventually Moria's cut across the back by Luffy, stabbed in the chest, stabbed in the stomach by Zoro, kicked in the face by Sanji, and Brook will finish it off with a notch slash across Moria's side. So Luffy gets Zoro's blade out of Moria, and Kuma then appears in front of Moria's body. Moria isn't dead, but he's bleeding out quickly. Moria will laugh, saying, "You guys can beat me, that's no problem. But beating Kuma, it's almost impossible." Kuma will then actually just smack Moria, and coincidentally, the way he smacked Moria is right towards Marine HQ. And Moria has been sent flying so fast, blood can't even pour out of his body. It's just stuck there. But Luffy eventually looks at Kuma, saying, looking for a fight. And Kuma will look closely at Luffy's long hair. It resembles dragons. That's when Kuma turns around, saying, "Straw Hat Luffy, I'm a friend of your father, so I will not harm you. But should you ever encounter me again, you will be killed." Zoro will yell, "Who do you think you are?" I jump towards Kuma. Suddenly Kuma appears from behind Zoro, like just above Zoro and behind him, and Zoro can't see Kuma. Kuma's fist is coated in Ryuos, shocking everyone. Kuma then punches Zoro right into the ground, knocking Zoro unconscious. Zoro feels almost the same amount of damage as he does in canon. Zoro isn't as just hurt. All the damage was sent to his body, but he's unconscious. Chopper assesses his body quickly and will just heal him up. And Lola's crew did help raid the whole thing. So once Moria actually gets fast forward a few days, they ransacked all of Thriller Bark. Like Perona was sent flying by Kuma, she still gets sent to where Mihawk was. So yeah, after ransacking Thriller Bark, eventually go back to their ship, and Lola's crew will then leave on their ship. And Kuma had actually, he went back to Marine HQ, and he told them about what they did. The Marines then says, "We're already updating his body right now. Now let's update it more, do what they did in Moria." That's when Kuma says, "Oh, they destroyed around half his ship using one attack." And the Marines are facepalm, saying, "Oh, god damn it." As now, Luffy's bounty, after around 5 days, is going to be upgraded to 500 million. Zoro is upgraded to 300 million. Just to make it a little salty. 313 million. Sanji is put at 280 million. You have Brook, because Brook was also fighting Moria for a little bit. Brook is put at 98 million, as Kuma didn't see all of Brook's abilities, so Brook is at 98 million. The Demon Trio's in the 100 millions. But, well, Robin would also be put in the 100 millions. Robin's in there as well, as she is put at 100 million. Exactly 100 million. Then we have Usopp, who would be at 80 million. Nami is at 70 million. Chopper at let's just say 40,000 for Chopper. Kobe and Helmeppo, they're put at an equal bounty of 50 million. And Frankie is put at 60 million. So, pretty sure the stress I'd put on the crew right now. So, yeah. Now, eventually, Trust end up going to Sabaody Archipelago. And when they get there, they dock their ship. And they still do pick up Kami and everything. Like, that's what happens. But this time, they don't encounter, they still do encounter the guy that took Hachi. And that, like, Sanji still fixes his face, but, yeah. It kind of goes the same way, just a lot faster. Like they finish everything in an hour. But they get back to Sabaody, and Kami and Hachi kind of run off with a starfish. And that's when the news scoop spreads all throughout, like on their way to Sabaody, the news scoop spread all throughout Sabaody, and they drop the new bounty for the Straw Hats. Kid is the first one to receive a bounty poster. He reads what happened as he then yells in rage, saying, "What the hell?" This kid was previously the highest bounty, I think, to 15 million. But then he reads what the Straw Hats did. And they didn't say that Andy's lobby had a buster call, they say the Straw Hats sunk Andy's lobby. And that's when the rest of the Supernovas read what happened. Even Rayleigh reads it. The only thing that catches them off guard is the Straw Hat. But you can already tell that the Marines are probably lying to cover up their own actions at times. And it's not exactly wrong, but it's not wrong, but it's not true. So, once Kid reads what they did, he's kind of shocked that they have the guts to do that. Like, it's something he would do, but it'd take him a long time to do it. Then it's read that he defeated two warlords, actually. 2 warlords had been defeated by him. And he's upset that the first mate has almost the same bounty as him. Luffy is put as the #1 supernova right now, at 500 million. Rayleigh shows Shocky. She actually points out the hat that was probably worn by Shanks. I like the theory that she was on the Rocks Pirates, so Shocky would recognize the hat from Shanks or Roger. But eventually Straw gets to Sabaody, and they're the talk of Sabaody. No one even wants to intervene with them. But Kami is still kidnapped. Now, Luffy still wants to coat the ship as well. He wants to coat it. So they end up they also took down, they're able to retract the giant barrier, and they also are able to just row. But the barrier's retracted, so they can actually put coating on the ship. But Shocky tells him the coder isn't in right now. And Luffy will flirt with Shocky. Brook tries to flirt with her. Sanji ends up failing horribly. But eventually, they still have to go to the auction. And shockingly, they have the most berries. Even more than the Celestial Dragons. And Zoro and Charlos, that didn't happen. Zoro would be with Luffy at all times. Luffy uses Observation Haki for the whole island around Kami. So they're to the option instantly. And they only beat Charlos by 100 million berries. So he tries to buy Kami. Shockingly, Luffy outbids him at 2.9 billion. And they ransack Moria, like I said. So they're around at I say they're 4.5 billion berries. So 2 billion it's a large amount of money leaving them, but they still have around over a billion on their ship. And this shocks the hell out of Charlos, as Luffy wins Kami. And then that's when they actually bring out Rayleigh, and that's when Luffy will flash back to Shocky's bar. There's a picture of Rayleigh there with Shocky, Shocky opening her bar, or reopening after, let's say, there's a picture of Rayleigh and Shocky reopening after a fire in a bar. Luffy says, 20 million. But he's kind of shocked that someone wanted to buy him. And no one else wanted to buy Rayleigh, so they say he sold. Now, after the auction, Rayleigh didn't need to break anyone out. But Charlos will walk up to Luffy saying, give me the mermaid. Luffy would say, and bug off. He walks past Charlos as he grabs Kami out of her cage, and he sneakily will use his Wakizashi and break the collar from the inside. He does the same thing with Rayleigh, saying, yeah, sir, we need our ship coated later. Rayleigh will say, okay. But first let me do this. Ray lets out a burst of Conqueror, shocking Luffy even, as Luffy is a user of it. Like, all the rest are shocked. They're still conscious. The kid pirates are shocked. Everyone's just shocked. But the collar's all free. All the slaves burst out. And Charlos had actually grabbed a rifle to shoot Luffy in the head. And when he tries it, Luffy's right in front of Charlos, cutting the bullet in half. And Charlos hits Luffy's fist right to his face, breaking his nose, his jaw, cracking his skull. Charlos' head is not okay. He has like 8 concussions in one blow. Charlos is knocked unconscious, as then we have Charlos' sister, who tries to shoot Luffy as well. But Usopp will shoot a gun out of her hand, as Luffy will palm strike her in the gut, knocking her out. Charlos' dad is hit in the back of the head by the hilt of Zoro's sword, knocking him out. And Hachi, like, it wasn't for Hachi being shot this time, it was just for Luffy. He almost being shot by the Celestial Dragon. Kami will hug Luffy tightly, as then she runs off to go meet up with Hachi again. And the sister's still, like, she's still awake. Actually, I'm gonna say she woke up and called, like, the Marines, saying the Celestial Dragons are being assaulted. And eventually, the Marines are still coming. But Kid, Luffy, and Law still team up. And Kid will actually look at Luffy, saying, "You have a lot of guts, and I don't want to be beaten by someone that's just a fraud. So show me what you can do against these Marines." Luffy would laugh, saying, "All right." And then they go outside. All the Marines are lined up. Luffy would think really hard, saying, "The Conqueror Spirit." And Luffy had decided that's what it is. It kind of just dominates people. Luffy knows it's Conqueror Spirit. Well, doesn't know that's the proper name of it, actually. Guess the actual name. But Luffy would think really hard and eventually try to channel it into his head, and then shoot the Conqueror's Haki out. The Haki is shot out, actually knocks out a large majority of the Marines. But not all of them, it's not that strong. Kid would chuckle, saying, "That's more like it." As he takes down a few of the Marines, Kid, Killer, and Zoro do as well. So it's Law and Beppo. But Luffy just cuts down a lot of them as well. But we're going to fast forward a bit. We're going to fast forward to Kizaru arriving. Kizaru arrives. Luffy and him are fighting right outside Shaki's bar, as Luffy and him have been going all around Sabaody fighting. And they've been fighting for around 20 minutes. Luffy's reflexes are the only thing keeping him alive right now. Luffy's body's running on pure freedoms. His reflexes are all that's keeping him alive. Rayleigh sees this obviously, and then intercepts Kizaru by slapping away Kizaru's blast. His blast would have killed Luffy. All the rest of the strats are knocked out. They're done. But Luffy, when he coats his sword in Haki again, as he has enough stamina to do that. And he coats both his blades in Haki, as Luffy will yell, "Starburst, rush!" And he repeatedly slashes at Kizaru, as Kizaru even has his hand cut. But Rayleigh then says, "You let your guard down." He then kicks Kizaru right in the face, knocking him out. So Kizaru's almost knocked out. Actually, well, not knocked out, but he's almost knocked out. Kizaru is hit in the face, and is knocked out because he was caught off guard. Luffy would tackle Kizaru, running through a lot of the trees that are on Sabaody. Then Kizaru actually turns his light again and will kick Luffy in the back, as Luffy is knocked unconscious. Then Rayleigh and Kizaru will fight, with Kizaru suffering to leave. But Zoro will wake up and fight Sentamaru, and he wins. But Sentamaru and Kizaru have to retreat. And when Kuma arrives again, he tells Luffy, "I told you, I would have to kill you." Rayleigh tries to defend the strats, but Kuma actually just tells Rayleigh the same thing he did in canon, as Rayleigh will watch the strats be separated. But, my phone's still at a pretty low battery. Oh no, it's not. My charger's fast. Well, actually, oh, my bad about that. So, it's actually pretty late though, so it's like 11 p.m. So it's 11 p.m. I'm gonna end the what if here. Sorry I didn't go into time skip like I said I would, but I'm tired. It's late. Good night.